Well, now that Johan Gillette has been found guilty of aggravated murder, the jury has another decision to make, whether to sentence Johan to prison or the death penalty. KEZI 9 News reporter Sarah Hurwitz joins us live in the newsroom to tell us about the options. Sarah?
Next week, the jury will be back for the sentencing portion of the trial, and as the prosecution and defense work to get ready, there are a number of possible sentences that could be handed down. Here's a look back at the trial and what Johan could ultimately face.
State of Oregon versus Johan Stefan Gillette. We, the jury, being duly impaneled and sworn to try the above entitled action, find the defendant Johan Stefan Gillette as to count 1, aggravated murder, guilty.
Guilty on all but one charge. It took the jury only about 7 hours between Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon to decide the verdicts for Johan Gillette, a son found guilty of killing his father, James Gillette, and father's partner, former University of Oregon School of Music Dean Ann McLucas. The prosecution argued that Johan beat them with a wrench, but the defense painted a different picture, that Johan was defending himself against his dad, who had a history of abuse and violent behavior. According to Oregon law, in every aggravated murder trial, the death penalty is an option, and the jury could now choose that as Johan Gillette's sentence. But he could also receive a life sentence or 30 years to life. Now, aggravated murder trials are the only cases where the jury decides sentencing, and they must consider the sentence for each separate count. Then the judge ultimately decides whether they run back-to-back as different sentences or together as one full sentence. The jury found Gillette guilty on 2 counts of aggravated murder for the deaths of his father, James Gillette, and Ann McLucas, and he was found not guilty on the 3rd count of aggravated murder, but guilty of a lesser charge, intentional murder. That's because the jury didn't agree that he killed McLucas to cover up the death of his father. Now, the sentencing portion of the trial begins next Wednesday, and in aggravated murder cases, this part of the trial can last for a couple of days, almost like a second trial while they recall evidence and witnesses to the stand. We also did reach out to family and friends as well as attorneys for reaction to the verdict, but they said that they won't comment until sentencing is over. Live in the newsroom, Sarah Hurwitz, KEZI 9 News.